45 years going after these manufacturers with exploitive supply chains. We started in the 80s with Campbell Soup. An 8-year fight. There was an 8-year strike and a 7-year boycott. And Campbell's came and did what everybody said they'd never do. They signed an agreement with the farm workers. Then we took on the giant Vlasic Pickle Company. Then we took on the Heinz USA Company, the ketchup people. Then we took on the Dean Foods Corporation and their subsidiaries, Aunt Jane and Green Bay Foods, and got them all to sign agreements. Then we came down to North Carolina and got Mount Olive Pickle Company in a 5-year fight to sign an agreement with the farm workers. And now we're going after Reynolds America to sign an agreement with the farm workers. Now we're going to go after Altria and Philip Morris International, get them to sign an agreement with the farm workers. Because this is not about, it is not about getting even anymore. It is not about saying these people are nasty, this and this, and what and what. They are who they are. But what we have to do is reconcile them with the people on the bottom. The people on the bottom with the people on the top. There has to be true, meaningful reconciliation. There has to be a way in which people can make all the money they want to make, but they cannot do it at the expense of people dying in the fields. They can make all the money they want to make, but they can't do it at the expense of people getting injured and not getting treated. They can make all the money that they want to make, but they can't do it at the expense of people not having the ability to voice their complaints, their rights on the job, and have some answers to it of the problems that bother them when they get out of bed in the morning. That's what they need to do. So when we talk about reconciliation, we have to talk about how we're going to implement some mechanisms to make those things happen. That was the subject of all the discussion today at that shareholders meeting. I'm very happy. Not because I didn't know that if it was ever going to happen or not. It's never a question if it's going to happen or not. It's always a question of when. A question of when, as long as people like you are going to stand alongside those workers who are willing to raise their voice in the field and go to the risk of being deported, of being losing their jobs, afraid of asking for help, asking for water in this hot, humid weather. They're afraid. But enough of them have stood up and said, no matter what the consequences, we are going to stand up and say, this is not going to happen to us anymore. So I thank you all for standing with us, for standing with those workers, because as long as we just keep pushing, something's going to happen on the other end. And we saw today, you heard what the people said that reported from the inside. It's another step forward. We're not there yet. So we got to keep their feet to the fire. We got to go remind the kangaroo store chains, the pantry store chains. We have to continue to remind the distributors and the McLean distribution company that they're all making money off the farm workers like Victor and all these other fellows that are standing over here against the wall. They're making their money. They can make all the money that they want, but they got to tell Reynolds America, they got to tell Philip Morris International, you guys got to go out there and solve those problems with those people who are making us all wealthy. And let this be, it's a microcosm of what's going on in this nation, because there are very, very rich people who are polarizing wealth with their investment and getting it off the sweat of the back of people like yourself who work every day for a living. Even the policemen who are standing here, they serve the public, they serve the people, but they got to serve everybody and make sure that the law is implemented equally across the board to everybody, human being. Everybody's got rights. Even the people without papers have rights because they're human beings. They are members of our union. I don't care whether they got papers or not. They have rights, and we're going to represent them, because if they brought them here to exploit them, we can use the same way they brought them here to exploit them and to give them justice. And that's what we stand for today. So my brothers and sisters, hang in there, stick in there with us. Let's keep their feet to the fire, and we'll see of a day when someday we'll sign a letter of agreement, a memorandum of understanding, a collective bargaining agreement. We'll sign something to start making these abuses go away. Hasta la victoria.